So you've tried vibe coding. You hop onto an AI builder, start coding, and then suddenly something broke. Then you find yourself spending a lot of time and probably a lot of credits too. In this video, I'm gonna share with you my process to building apps with AI builders, whether it's Lovable, the tool we're gonna use in this video, but it also applies to any other coding tool as well. Following these steps will make sure you save time, credits, and also back and forth while building the most complex aspects of your app. Before we hop on, I just want to tell you that every document, prompt, or asset I'm gonna mention during the video is going to be available on the description box below, so you can check it and download it yourself. Without further ado, let's do it as step one.
So step number one is going to be building your Vibe doc. I know it sounds kind of funny. I came up with the name, but before doing any code, we need a clear map of what are we going to build and how are we going to build it. And this is what the Vibe doc does for you. It outlines first a description, an overall description of your app, which we're going to use later on other steps, but also the technical features, some of the basic implementations such as database structure suggestions, and even a checklist and step-by-step list that you can use to guide yourself and also your AI assistant to build the right things in the right order. I like to keep it simple, so I'm gonna give you a rundown real quick of how the Vibe doc looks like. This particular one is for the example that we're gonna use today, and that's gonna be building an RPG habit manager for RPG nerds such as myself. So this document was generated by that prompt I used with ChatGPT. It gives it a huge context of the app that I'm trying to build, so he can create the structure of the Vibe doc that I gave him to. So let's do a quick rundown of the document, okay? We have a technical overview part where it's laying down a basic concept of my app and also some of the main features that it needs to have in order to accomplish its purpose. Then a technical stack, which is basically things I mentioned we're going to use. This is nice because if you have complex features such as, I don't know, map integrations, it's probably going to lay down here some of the options you can use for the Maps or Locations API, for example, like Google Maps or Places API, things like that. Then there's a part that contains a suggested structure for the database. This is nice because this for me is usually one of the first steps I do when I create an app, getting the right database structure. Then a couple of implementation details. This, of course, have been picked up from the process of the question of creating this document that I did with the prompt in ChatGPT. So it includes an onboarding flow I mentioned, the app management part of it, and the experience of level up system. And lastly, my favorite part of this document is the progressive building steps and checkpoints. And what this does is gonna break down what are the layers that you need to build in your project in a way that is scalable. So you start with the things that other complex features or other later features will need to work correctly in order for the app not to break awkward points in the development. And even comes with checkpoint validation. So basically test scenarios that you can run the system or this layer that you develop in to make sure it works correctly. So this is a Vibe document in a nutshell. It can be a bit tricky because sometimes you feel the urge to just start prompting to your AI coding assistant and start building things and telling it to fix, and you feel like you move faster that way. But I guarantee that if you spend a couple of minutes, I usually spend like, I don't know, 20 minutes building and documenting what I want to build and going back and forth with some questions with ChatGPT to get it right. It's gonna save you so much effort, especially at the beginning, so you can build the foundations of your app, so you get less errors, less back and forth, and especially save some credits with the AI tool you're using to build the right thing from the beginning. Now, with this setup, we can move to the second step. Now that we know what to build, we're gonna head into Lovable, which is gonna be the AI assistant code tool of choice for today's video. And I'm gonna tell it to, hey, Lovable, could you help me set up and start a project? Don't do anything yet. I'll give you more context and connect a database. Hit enter. That's the way I usually start my Lovable projects. If you already have a name, you can like throw in the name of the app in there so it has that basic starting context. And then we're gonna wait for this to spin up to have our project ready. Alrighty, so if the project start up successfully, it's gonna look like this in Lovable, just a simple welcome blank screen. And this is a good sign that we're already set up for the next step, which is going to be step number 3. Now we head into step number 3, which is going to be adding your custom knowledge. Custom knowledge usually depends a lot on the type of project that you're building. So, for example, if you're trying to build in a different language from the one you're speaking with the AI coding assistant, or if you're developing a mobile first application, you want to make sure those kind of instructions that are clear and short are in the knowledge base. In Lovable, you can do this by going to the lower left corner, hit that plus button right here, and click on knowledge. Or you could also, if you use the instruction and the first prompt I used to kickstart a project, Lovable is going to give you in the chat the instruction, the option already to manage the knowledge. So you click on that, and this context box is going to appear. Something I usually add to my custom knowledge is a brief description of the app that I'm trying to build. So the AI coding tool has always a context of what are we trying to achieve. You can actually use the Vibe doc for this purpose. If you use the very same prompt I use, you're gonna have like a quick paragraph right here that has like a overview of the app we're trying to build. And I'm gonna add it right here just by saying context and then pasting that concept of our app right here. And then I like to add a couple of style preferences that I wanted to consider. So I'm gonna use instructions here. And because I like this to be a mobile application, I want everything that's gonna be built in terms of UI fit for a mobile layout and look good for mobile first. So I'm gonna tell it this is a mobile first app. So make sure you create UI components that consider a mobile layout. And then I'm gonna hit the save button here to save those instructions. And there you go. You can also ask ChatGPT for help to come up with these instructions that you want to use in the custom knowledge for the project. Something that you should consider as a rule will be to keep it as short and as clear as possible. Because I've noticed with these models that if you use a very long instruction or a really long paragraph of custom knowledge, it will sometimes hallucinate or even ignore some of the instructions just because it can't keep up with the volume that is set up. Great. So you made it to step number 4, which is going to be setting up, creating an account, and connecting a database with our project. Chances are, if you create an app, you're gonna need to store something unless it's something really, really simple like a tool. But if you have functions or features such as user login, you need to store data. And in order to do that, you need a database. In this example, we're gonna use Supabase, which is a really good free scalable option that connects beautifully to Lovable. So I'm gonna walk you through the steps of creating an account for it and connect it. We're gonna head up to this green logo here button that is at the top right of the screen. We're gonna click on it, bam. And then you're gonna get prompted something similar to this. Of course, all of these projects that you see in is because I'm already connected with some accounts, but I'm going to follow a step-by-step guide where I just add a new account. So I click on that button, add a new organization, and I'm gonna get prompted with this login screen. Assuming I don't have an account yet, I'm gonna click here to create one. And then I'm going to fill up these fields, click on sign up, and get an email that I need to confirm in order for this account to turn on. So see you there. Once you click on the confirmation button in your email, you're gonna get taken to this screen where you're gonna choose a name for your Supabase organization. Pick a type of plan and just hit create organization. An organization, it's like the profile that is going to allow you to create and manage different projects within it. So we're gonna wait for it to spin up, and it immediately asks us to create a new project, which is going to be a database and bucket collection. So we're gonna add it. I don't know. We're gonna use YouTube as a project name. Here, just gonna get a generated password real quick, and then the region, which usually gets selected to whatever is closest and quickest to you. Um, that's where the database is going to be located. So So here, the project will spin up. It usually takes a couple of seconds and minutes to get ready for it. So let's just give it 1 minute and let's go to our Lovable tool again to connect this baby. Now that we give it a minute to spin up, we're gonna go again to Lovable, hit that connection button again, and you're gonna see in this window now it's going to ask for permission to connect with the account and the project or organization we just created, which was called YouTube. We're gonna select it, click here, the green button, and then just wait for this to confirm that we connected. And there you go, you're gonna get a message. You should now see it here on the list. You're gonna see it says YouTube, and if I click on that, it's going to show me the projects that I created underneath it. If it doesn't show, it's probably loading yet. But if it shows, you're gonna click this connect button right here, and then click connect again. And this will automatically connect your current project with the database, the Supabase project you just created. You're gonna see another notification there. And if you actually go back to the project, you're probably gonna see a message right here indicating that the action was taken and the connection to the Supabase project was successful. With this, you have one step of your backend completed. You connected the database where you can start storing data and even images through bucket functions. We're almost there. This is the last step, step number 5, which is going to be connecting your GitHub account to the project. Connecting your GitHub account is going to allow you to work locally seamlessly. Working locally changes everything. It's faster, more flexible, and it's going to allow you to test and spin up your app without burning credits. And it'll unlock some extra perks that working with Git and version control brings to the table. Now, installing Git and get it to run with your account on your local machine, it's a process. There are plenty of resources on YouTube that you can follow step by step in order to do it. But in this video, I'm going to focus only on connecting my Lovable project with an already existing and set up account that I have in my local machine for GitHub. So again, you're gonna go to that top right border of your screen. You're gonna click on the cat icon, that's the GitHub logo, and you're gonna enable this button that says transfer project to GitHub. What this will do is clone the project, the current project, on a repository on your GitHub account and actually make it the source of truth. So you have the source of truth code always available on your repository. If it succeeds, you're gonna get these options here where you can actually click on view GitHub right here button to see if the files in the repo was correctly initialized. You can see here it was. Now that we have the repo, we're going to proceed to clone this repository into our local machine. So I usually like to follow this procedure for that. I just have, you just open your code editor here. I'm going to use Cursor for this example, but this is almost the exact same layout as Visual Studio Code, which is the most common IDE code editor. And I'm just going to open, dragging and dropping this folder that I have for this new project. It's called YouTube. And I'm going to see a new terminal window here. If you don't see it, you can go to the terminal options. You just click on new terminal. And in this console, I'm going to back to my Lovable project, click on that GitHub cat logo again, and I'm going to copy this thing on this box. Bam. Then gonna go back to my code editor and I'm going to type git clone and then paste that link I just copied. It's going to load. This is downloading the project and you're gonna see here in the folder section that the project has already been downloaded. It's now locally on my machine. I often use Lovable to develop and come up with big features or big changes and use something like Cursor, which can handle all the code locally, to work on small bugs, improvements, or even UI tweaks I want to make. So I set credits on Lovable. Now let's test it real quick to see if this is effectively connected to the right repo and it's going to make changes on my app. To do that, I'm just going to search for this welcome to your blank app text. I'm going to change it. Right, so instead of that, I'm going to write hello YouTube. And if I'm going to save it right there, then I'm going to move to the project, which is a folder I just downloaded. And I'm going to type the right commands to push this changes. So now, okay, it pushed the change I just made, which was changing the text. And if I go to my app and make it spin up, you're gonna see now it says hello YouTube on the Lovable builder. And actually you can see in the chat as well, whenever you do an external comment, that every changes, this is a message I just wrote, it's gonna be displayed on the chat as well. Awesome. Now with this, you're synced both locally and online. And trust me, this is going to save you so much time for those busy hours when Lovable is full of people building things and using the model. So things usually can take a longer to spin up in the previewer or even, just take a lot of time to show small changes. So if you're able to show those changes or make small tweaks locally and test them real quick, you can also save a lot of time during the development process. If you want me to actually show you step by step how's the process of how I manage my things locally, a bit of introduction about the Git commands I use as well, you can ask me in the comments below, drop if that's interesting for you, and that could be the next video of the channel. Yee, awesome. Now, here's what you just done. You created a Vibe document that maps your ideas. You started a clean project in Lovable. You gave your AI assistant the right knowledge to start building things. You connected a real database and a bucket to your Lovable project. And you wire up your GitHub so you can work locally and online with this. What you just set up isn't just a good environment. It's an ecosystem that is going to allow you to save a lot of time and a lot of money while vibe coding. I hope this video helps you and give you more confidence on building your app with AI coding tools. Finally, if you want to learn more about vibe coding and creating a one-man agency of app design and development, hit the subscribe button and keep yourself on the loop for new videos. That's it for today. Hope it helps. See you in the next one.